Hey, today I'm talking about 3 Steve Carell romance films. And the names of those 3 movies are Crazy Stupid Love, Date Night, and Dan in Real Life. First up is Crazy Stupid Love. This is a 2011 film with a stacked cast. You got Steve Carell, Ryan Gosling, Julianne Moore, Emma Stone, Marissa Tomei, Kevin Bacon, and a really young Joey King. And man, is this movie freaking perfect. Like, the opening section perfectly sets up the movie because it's a whole bunch of close-ups of shoes on dates. So it's just like maybe they're playing footsie, maybe they're like tapping their foot, and then you finally get to the shoes of Steve Carell and Julianne Moore, and he's just wearing like the most awful looking dad shoes. It's clearly mismatched, and that sets up the whole movie right there of like they are just not on the same wavelength anymore, which is why they're having all of these issues. And like just the filmmaking in general in this is so insanely well crafted. Like textbook definition phenomenal. I kept just being so impressed by like bits of writing, bits of dialogue, bits of acting, bits of cinematography. Like this movie hits. And then they got, God, Ryan Gosling is just, his whole thing in this movie is incredible because like he's Ryan Gosling. He's incredibly charming. Perfect example of it is the scene where he meets Emma Stone's character. Oh my God, he just lays on the charm so thick. But also like he's clearly a bit misogynistic, and that comes from his upbringing, which is like so very like naturally brought up in conversation, and then like the bits that are said are like, oh, this explains why he is the way that he is, and answers all of these questions we have about this character, about like why is he so rich, why does he just sleep around every single night with some strange new person. And then like that also just sets up his character arc of like, yeah, Steve Carell needs to be more confident, needs to be more appreciative of his wife and his life and stuff, and so like Ryan Gosling's character is there to help him do his character arc, but then later you realize, oh, Steve is also there to help Ryan on his character arc, because Ryan does come across as this perfect person, but it's just a thin veil that actually he does have all of these flaws and terrible traits that he needs help overcoming. But it's just like his charm is so distracting that you don't notice them, which is again just great writing and great acting. One of my favorite bits of writing is the scene where Steve talks about all the yard care stuff, and Julianne Moore is talking about why their marriage didn't work, and she's like trying to justify to him and also herself why she's ending this marriage, and he is just not engaging in the conversation. He's just talking about the yard, and it's just, man, it's I love it for so many different reasons. Just the emotions there are so perfect. Like he doesn't care, he does not care whatsoever. Like she's made this choice, he loves her and respects her enough to just accept this choice. He knows he's failed, he knows he's messed up. He's not gonna agree with her that like, oh no, you made the right choice, but he's just like, you've made this choice, this is our life, and I care about this world that we've made. That's why I am helping you with this yard stuff. I want to help you with this yard stuff. I love too just like the recurring thing of the yard, like Steve Carell sneaks back to the house at night to do yard work stuff because he does still love his wife, and man, I love it. Another little moment I love is when Steve Carell has a Velcro wallet and Ryan Gosling just like recoils at the sound of it. Brilliant. Yeah, no, just the whole thing. I love this movie to bits. It's a freaking perfect movie. If you've never seen it before, I highly recommend it. If you have seen it before, it's worth a rewatch. It's a fantastic movie that I love to bits and wholeheartedly recommend. Next up is Date Night. This is a 2010 film starring Tina Fey and Steve Carell, and the basic premise is this couple is in a bit of a rut, so they decide to do a little fun date night and end up getting wrapped into this whole misunderstanding adventure thing with maybe like some gang related stuff. And it's okay. It gives strong SNL sketch vibes, but like it's an SNL sketch that isn't quite working, but because every 10 minutes they inject a new celebrity cameo, it energizes it, so you kind of forget that the sketch really isn't going that well. I think the premise is fine in and of itself, and I do like the main actors for sure, but they really just missed the mark. They kind of got distracted and didn't really set up why their marriage has kind of gotten stale. So like when the big emotional confrontation does happen, it kind of feels out of nowhere and disconnected with the rest of the movie. Like, yeah, they technically set it up a little bit, but it really needed to be more sprinkled throughout and kind of built up to the big emotional release. Because again, it just gets distracted by like doing all of these silly hijinks and stuff. It is wild too that like every person in this film is a person of note. Like Olivia Munn is the maitre d'. The random criminals they come across are James Franco and Mila Kunis, and so on and so forth. It's wild. There were some that I was excited for, but it's also like you got some kind of shady celebrity people, so like I couldn't be that excited by some of them. The whole thing kind of felt a bit lazy, but it was technically entertaining enough to be passable. So would I recommend it? Not really, but like if you kind of want sort of a background noise or turn your brain off movie, or movie where like you're just not giving it your all, yeah, it's fine. It's definitely very middle of the road. It's all right. So yeah, I guess kind of would recommend is my recommendation. And lastly is Dan in Real Life. This is a 2007 film that I'm not sure if I've seen before. I remember really wanting to see it. Like, I love this poster a lot, and I remember wanting to watch it, but I don't know if I ever got around to it. The story really isn't anything that crazy, so if I did, it didn't stick in my brain. The basic premise is this dad and widower finally finds a woman that he's interested in, but spoilers, it's his brother's new girlfriend, and then shenanigans ensue. It definitely does a good job of capturing the vibe of being at a vacation home with extended family. There's always something going on. That stillness in the air when you're the last one or first one awake, and that energy that exists when you come into a room that has lots of life in it. Always something going on, always some plans happening, always like a conversation you're walking in on. I like the premise of being in love and a better match for someone who's currently in a relationship. That's definitely like a very relatable thing. Has that ever happened to me? Maybe, potentially, possibly. But like there's a lot of cringe humor that I'm just not a fan of, like so much awkwardness. And then too, like they spend so much of the first act of the movie establishing the poor relationship he has with his children, who are great by the way. Allison Pill, Britt Robertson, and a third one. And I was so excited because I'm like, oh, these are two actors of note. I'm excited to see them like do stuff with Steve Carell, especially since they spent so much time establishing he's got a terrible relationship with them. And so like I was then expecting him to then work on that relationship throughout the course of the film, notice the pitfalls, turn to his girls for advice and help. But basically as the second act happens, he completely ignores them. They're nothing throughout the rest of the film. Like, yeah, the end has a big emotional thing with them, but like we needed more there. He needed to have more of a relationship with them throughout. And then too, like his relationship with his brother's just kind of there. It's Dane Cook, by the way. He was fine. This is from that era where Dane Cook wasn't everything. Anyway, you don't get the sense that they're brothers. It's established, yeah, he doesn't want to screw over his brother by taking his new girlfriend, but like, do these guys even talk? Like, how often do they talk? Like, what's their dynamic? What kind of brothers are they? Were they close as children? Did they fight a lot as children? How often do they see each other now? Just establish anything about their relationship. We do not get what the vibe is with their relationship. Dane Cook is just there being Dane Cook. Like, especially the relationship with the brother, but I kind of feel like I'd describe the whole film as being undercooked. Like, there's definitely lots of interesting ideas and lots of interesting things to do within this film. And again, the vibe is good, but they didn't spend enough time really establishing stuff or building up stuff or establishing relationships or giving more story to things for it to really amount to anything. So it's not a terrible movie. It wasn't a didn't like, but it really wasn't any kind of a good movie either. It's definitely a meh movie. It's an okay movie. So I'm glad I finally got to watch it, but I don't really recommend it. Alrighty, now for today's rankings. First up, we got Crazy Stupid Love sitting at number 6. in the really like section. And then after that is date night, sitting number 76 in the like section, right on the line between liked and meh. And then bringing up the rear is Dan in real life, sitting number 79 in the meh section. And this is out of a total of 90 old movies so far this year.